Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here this Friday at the Catalyst Conclave. And to be honest, I'm actually privileged to be moderating this session with the stalwarts here, the founders of Kakatiya Sandbox, Mr. Raju Reddy Garu and Fanendra Sama, who actually don't need any introduction, right? They, as we can see, from the presentations earlier, the impact that Kakatiya Sandbox has really created. It actually touched more than 2 million families here in the areas of agriculture, micro-entrepreneurship, and skilling. And I'm hoping that with this discussion, we'll get a true insight of what their vision is for the Kakatiya Sandbox. Please join me in welcoming Raju Reddy Garu and Fani. So again, it's an honor to be sitting here and moderating this session here. So I'm sure a lot of you here are curious to know the foundation of Kakatiya Sandbox, right? And would love to hear from, in your own words, the beginning of Kakatiya Sandbox. When was this conceived? And what was the need that compelled you to start, especially in the tier 2 cities?
All right, thank you, Vineel. Once again, thank you all for joining us this evening. I hope you're enjoying the sessions. Thank you, thank you. It means a lot. It's wonderful to see this kind of a gathering. As Manish said right at the beginning, this is the first time we are doing an event like this in Hyderabad. But the bigger event, the real work, of course, happens in the field all across rural Telangana, and the big event happens in Nizamabad. It's always the last Friday, Saturday of January. And we hope to see you there. This time the last Friday falls on January 31st, so it will be Jan 31st and Feb 1st. So anyway, by way of background, my name is Raju Reddy. I'm a native of Nizamabad, and I grew up, of course, here in India and went to the US back in 81 after graduating from BITS Pilani, and built a company called Sierra Atlantic that was bought by Hitachi with a sizable presence here in Hyderabad. So the company was bought in 2010, and that is when you start thinking about what can you do with the two resources that I did not have earlier, which is time and capital, right? I mean, you never have enough of either, but there was always an interest in doing something in sort of philanthropy, if you will, of social impact here in India. And so I was looking at different sort of organizations, and I was involved in some of that prior to starting Kakatiya Sandbox. So I happened to meet Deshpande, who really started this program, what we're calling the Sandbox Model of Economic Development in Hubli. And when I visited Hubli, I was really inspired by that. So to me, there were kind of three main constructs of what we are calling the Sandbox model that appealed to me. One, it is a bottom-up form of economic development, meaning unless the local people are an active part of the solution, these changes are not sustainable, right, long term. And so I think you have seen some elements of that during the course of the conversations today. A lot of the work actually is done by most of them in their young, in their 20s, 30s, that age, because by the time they get to my age, then they'll tell you 20 reasons why something can't happen. So we want to capitalize on the energy and the enthusiasm and the sort of go-getter attitude of the young people. That's one, bottom-up development. Second, you take an entrepreneurial mindset to addressing social challenges, meaning pure charity doesn't always scale. There is a time and place to have pure charity dollars, but pure charity work. But in general, we try and get, for example, with the farm ponds or the skilling or any of these programs, we try and get the beneficiary to pay some portion of it. And we recognize some of them may not be in a position to do that, but we will support that fully. But in general, that's the construct we try and get to. Because if we deliver our programs right, they should be able to get the economic benefit oftentimes within first month for some skilling programs, or within the first year for the farmers. So that's one thing. Deshpande, who is the founder of the sandbox model, likes to say, if you combine the compassion of the non-profit world with the execution excellence of the for-profit world, then you get outstanding results. And third is scale. In a country of 1.4 billion people, there are a lot of people who are doing wonderful work in one village here and there, and God bless them. The country needs that. But to really make a meaningful difference, you need to have a sizable segment. So in our case, we picked a close-knit geography, roughly 10 million population, which is the previous districts of Nizamabad, Karimnagar and Medak. Now over the last 11 years, that has now expanded to, I would say, roughly our impact region is about 1% of India's population today. It doesn't mean we're impacting all of them, but that's the region. There are people from Nanded who've been coming to Nizamabad, and we're running our programs in Nanded, Maharashtra, but also parts of Nalgonda and some Adilabad and all of that. So those are kind of the three main tenets, and I'll just stop there. But that's what got me excited, and I spend a lot of time investing in startups and mentoring startups. But to me, my wife actually, Neeraja, she's sitting there. She knows that this is my number one priority. And when I wake up in the morning, the Kakatiya Sandbox, the Deshpande Foundation work is truly, it's just extraordinary. You heard some of those people up on the stage. When you hear their, life stories and what it has meant to them, that's really the biggest reward I can ask for. So thank you.
So, as a follow-up to that, I just want to ask Funny as well. What made you join Raju in this journey?
Raju Garu was in our board at Redbus, and when we exited Redbus, Raju Garu spoke to me about setting up Sandbox in Nizamabad. Or even before that, he wanted to do something in India for the society. I knew Raju Garu as always this philanthropist. When I was in college, Raju Garu is also my senior. So when I was in college, any sponsorship we need, or if somebody is building some robotics and they need some money to exhibit somewhere, he's the one that we used to call. And even today on campus, he's the one that people just call. Okay, right? Anybody who's building satellites and etc. and all, many of them actually came out and started companies which went on to become unicorns and etc. So that's how I know Raju Garu, and that's how he was also in our board. So Raju Garu said, hey, you're from Nizamabad, I'm from Nizamabad, we should do something for Nizamabad. At that point in time, I was just in my 30s, early 30s, and I was thinking, hey, is this charity, philanthropy, these are big words, is this something for me? In fact, my parents were very worried when I said, hey, I'm going to do this. They gave me a sitting and said, hey, they were worried that I'm koncham Telugulo, koncham double సంపాదించడో లేదో అప్పుడే charity గురించి మాట్లాడుతుండు, right, and all that. And they told me, see, you look at Raju Garu, he's your father's age, ఆ age లో you can do charity, ఈ age లో ఏంటిది, right? Why are you getting into it? Don't join, right? But somewhere I felt like, hey, I have a great partner, and he's asking me. And in my life, many of the things happened earlier. Even when I was starting a company, people said it's too early, right? Just went and started, and then things changed. So from that perspective, I said, hey, when you have a good partner and you have an opportunity, so I just jumped in with him into it. That's all, yeah, against all the odds. But it's been a fantastic journey, unbelievable journey. I really thank to get this opportunity. Yeah.
I must say I've been really fortunate to have Funny as my co-founder, my partner in this, because a lot of what we do involves engaging with young people and sort of evangelizing, motivating them to pursue whatever the different programs, right? And there's very, very few people, I would say, not just in Telangana but all across India, that that look up to as much as they look up to Funny. So he's a fantastic brand ambassador, and many of our programs have actually been built by him, including Thai Nizamabad that you heard. So that's been phenomenal for me.
Wonderful. In fact, I'm also a benefactor of the advice and mentorship that I got from Raju Reddy Garu. And he's been an inspiration for me also to participate in Kakatiya Sandbox. Thank you again for giving us this platform to be part of it. Right. So, as a next follow-up, I'd love to hear, as just any other startup, I mean, you have done your startup and it's a great company that you've built. There are always these ups and downs in the startup. Have you seen challenges as part of Kakatiya Sandbox that, sometimes it's difficult and sometimes it kind of affirms that you want to continue with your vision? Are there any instances like that?
Yes, me.
Yeah, I think it's both of you.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, there are many times in this journey where I felt like things are going wrong, it's just not possible, and etc. And then you come out of it. I mean, actually, just now, a few moments ago, I was sitting there, right? I mean, when this Catalyst Conclave was conceived, right? In the thought that was going in my mind, and I was fighting with, let's say, Manish or the team is, we are a charity organization. We are doing something. I mean, to do this event, we have to spend at least a few lakhs. What will we get out of telling what we are doing by saying, like, Hyderabad elli andariki manam em chestunamani 2 lakhshalu kharchu petti enduku cheppali? Like, what is the benefit? So it's like, I was like, I have to support the team, so I come here, but internally, like, ade 2 lakhshalu evarkana sadu cheppochu kada ani, right? But many times, right, like I was just sitting on the table, just while this is happening on the table, right, like Vistaraku got some business, right, and Srini Raju Garu was sitting on the table when he heard the Skill Plus Ashwini, Srini Garu said, hey, this is a fantastic program, I want to scale it up to 10,000 students, right? Then the whole, right, just on my table, this whole Catalyst ka paisa vasool is done, right? So these are the kinds of things that that we go through, right? The team wants to do something, then you say, no, why do you want to do it? Then you're proven wrong, and things like that. But otherwise, yes, we've had our own failures. We do a fantastic job with cotton farmers. Then we said, hey, can we do something similar with our paddy farmers? We worked on it for several years, and it went nowhere. We had to wind up. That really pained me. We also set up a 3D printing lab in Nizamabad with again help of one of the other donors. After 25 lakhs ichi, he said, hey, set up this 3D printing lab because places like Nizamabad, వాళ్ళకి 3D printing అంటే కూడా తెలియదు, ఇంజనీరింగ్ కాలేజ్లో ఉన్న వాళ్ళకి. I want to help them learn this thing అని చెప్పేసి ఆయన 25 lakhs తీసుకొని ఆ ల్యాబ్ సెటప్ చేసినాము. 1-2 yearsలో that lab just was not functioning, and it was very painful. I was telling Raju garu, ఎవరిదో డబ్బులు తీసుకొని we are not able to do it, what is this అని చెప్పేసి, right? But yeah, it failed. You went through that thing, but at the end of all this, right, one thing that I'm happy about is the end result that is there, right? You go through some of those failures, but at the end of the day, what is remaining, is it material enough, is it impactful enough, this is satisfying. Yeah, we went through our own ups and downs and conflicts and disagreements and all that.
Can I add something to that? Now, just looking at that message on the wall there that says come, fail, learn and build, or something like that, right? So essentially, this is the journey of an entrepreneur, In fact, right in the beginning, funny, you may remember, I said, look, this is going to be more challenging than you building Red Bus or me building Sierra Atlantic, because there are a lot of unknowns here, and you're dealing with variety of stakeholders, I see Jayesh Ranjan Garu here. It's fantastic to have support like that from the government, right? There are government, but also at the local working level, at the district collector, district education. And of course, it also requires capital. And we've been fortunate to have many people who wrote checks and supporting us, while Funny, Desh and myself have done the seed funding and continue to fund, big chunk of it. So, I think entrepreneurs by nature are restless people. So it's okay, we'll figure out. And if we don't sort of push the envelope, then we'll never make progress, right? And you're bound to fail on something. If you didn't fail on, and in fact, that's the reason why it's called Sandbox, because you experiment with different ideas. The water program that we have, I think it started with about 20 to 30 different water harvestation programs, out of which only one of those farm ponds has scaled. There are actually two. There's another one for borewell recharge, but farm ponds is scaled much more. So that's almost by definition, that's what we're trying to do in the Sandbox model. So yeah, I mean, there have been some challenges, no question. But again, just like building a for-profit organization, it comes down to people. And fortunately, we had Manish who joined us. Give a big hand to that young man. He's just phenomenal. And what he's done, and when you get to know some of the people like Sahiti, Shirisha, Shekhar, I mean, these names may not mean anything to you. They are somewhere in the halls here. Ravi Chavan and Rajbhag, all those people that are here. Many of them have come from the villages. They actually have been beneficiaries of this program. So I think building that organization, that culture, I think is a very important part of it. And you constantly work at it, just like any organization, for-profit organization. It's not a one and done thing, right? But we believe we have built a pretty good foundation, and a lot of it also, the philosophy comes from Desh and Jayashree, the founders of the Sandbox model. And today, Funny is actually on the board of Deshpande Educational Trust, and I'm actually the chairman for the Deshpande Startups program. So it's almost integrated between Telangana and Karnataka. So my responsibility is not just to what's happening here, and likewise for Funny, right? And that's kind of how it is evolved. So.
Wonderful. It definitely looks like it's the people that make this thing a success. So it's a great journey so far. And over the past 10 years that it has started, it impacted many, many people, right? Now, how do you see this going forward the next 10 years?
Okay, you want me to take a crack at it? Yeah. By the way, it says time is up. I think when we came up, it said 13 minutes. So I think we need 7 more minutes. Yeah. So I'm hoping, we don't have to take 7 more minutes, but we'll just, I'll try and answer this quick. So, for a few thoughts on that. One, I think the core mission of what we're trying to do, which is economic transformation through innovation and entrepreneurship, that is going to be unchanged, right? I think that is how we started, and I think that's pretty sort of set. Now, what actually happens under each of those programs, and that of course, just like news, we were not aware of that of Santosh till about 3 years ago, and look at what they have done now, right? Even Basar, the program that we're working with Basar, that so those sort of things will happen because every small town like Nizamabad has a Santosh and has people like, I don't know if Ajit is here, Ajit and Shravya, wonderful young couple that built a phenomenal school that was ranked the #1 in all of South India. We didn't even talk about that. We have plenty of things to be talking about, by the way, So bear with me if I'm bragging a little bit, but Nizamabad does have some amazing jewels out there. So I think, those things will happen. But one thing, just in terms of scaling our programs, I think earlier one of the gentlemen asked, hey, can you do this in South Telangana and all that? Increasingly, Desh and Funny and I are of the view that we want to scale more through other partners, because we get a lot of requests from other people, including from Rajasthan, Maharashtra and other states, about, hey, can we replicate some of this? So we are very open to that. And likewise, we are very open to learning from others. Not like we got a formula that's cast in stone, right? So I think that's going to be one important aspect, scaling. We have already done some pilot projects in Rajasthan, farm ponds, and in Maharashtra, skilling and farm ponds, something like that. So that will continue. So scaling more through partners across India, wherever it is. And I would say the third thing, you will, I think, hear about it a little later. We are actually now building, which is kind of in the final stages of a campus in Nizamabad. We're calling it K-Hub, Kakatiya Hub of Social Innovation. And Jayesh Garu, when he was at one of our development dialogues, we talked about it almost 4 or 5 years ago. So finally it is happening. And so it's kind of a place for the community. And essentially it's an outcome of our work in the field for last 11 years. So it's not like we said, oh, we need to build this big building and let's kind of, this much more back to the bottom up form of development, right? We see the need for having a place for the community, and we want it to be a vibrant place that belongs to the community and not to Funny or me or Desh or anybody, right? So we love for all of you to come visit and help us make it sort of the hub for all the social innovation in the region, in all of Telangana, possibly parts of Maharashtra, because Nizamabad shares a border with Maharashtra and Karnataka, Bidar, the old Nizamabad district. So I often tell people, Nizamabad is a wonderful microcosm of India. If you can make it work in Nizamabad, you can probably make it work in other parts of the country, just because of the being a border state, border district and all of that. So that's one K-Hub. The other one, I must say, thanks to a great mentor for both Funny and I, Kanwal Reki, that some of you know. He came about 3 years ago to Nizamabad, and 2 years ago he really liked the work that we are doing. He said, hey, I really want to support entrepreneurship programs at scale, at the grassroots level. So he gave us 20 crores without us asking, and that's the benevolent Kanwal Reki. So we created a initiative called CREST, Kanwal Reki Rural Entrepreneurship Startup Center. So that's going to be a big thrust, which in the last 10 years we have not done much directly with the startups, but going forward now we will be doing based on the foundation we have built. Yeah. So those are kind of at a high level things that I can think of. Funny, anything you want to add to that? Or?
No, I think it's the same. I know where it will end up, because first time when we started TiE Nizamabad, around that time, both in combined states, there was only TiE Hyderabad. TiE Amravati was also not there. That our time lo mem TiE Nizamabad verdamu ani ante, everybody is like, Nizamabad, you want to have a TiE chapter, right? And then we have that now, and it's like it's the youngest global chapter, right? And the second thing is, when we wanted to start TiE Angels, Nizamabad Angels, like Nizamabad nunchi angel investors untrani. Recently one of our members went to TGS, the TiE Global Summit in Bangalore, and he got some 3 pictures. 2 TiE Nizamabad Angels, right? He sent me those pictures saying they want to raise money from TiE Nizamabad Angels. Do you want to go through them? I think some of these things we can't estimate the potential, right? You saw the beautiful nature of Nizamabad. I'm born in Nizamabad, brought up in Nizamabad. I'm seeing Nizamabad through a completely different lens, right? Because if news didn't exist, we would not have seen that side of Nizamabad. So I think it will sprout more such initiatives, more leaders will come out, and it'll be a phenomenal ecosystem change. But specifically talking about our programs, right? Raju Garu mentioned that we want to grow through partnerships. I spoke about our paddy farming thing which failed. That failed, whereas our cotton farming thing is a big success, 50,000 farmers. So if you look at why cotton farmer is successful but paddy is a failure, cotton is successful because we took the playbook from BCI, Better Cotton Initiative అనే ప్రోగ్రామ్. వాళ్ళ ప్లేబుక్ తీసుకొని మనం ఇక్కడ ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేసినాం, హౌ టు డూ దట్ ద హోల్ ప్రోగ్రామ్, రైట్? వెరాజ్ ప్యాడీ వీ ట్రై టు డూ ఇట్ అవర్ సెల్వ్స్, వీ సెడ్ విల్ ఫిగర్ ఇట్ అవుట్ అండ్ వీ ఫెయిల్, రైట్? But the skilling program that we do, right, it's all built in-house over 10 years. And just if you take both Nizamabad and Hubli, right, last year our skilling students, they what our placement rate is? If somebody gets into our skilling program, you know what is their placement rate?
100%.
It is 90 plus, right? 90 plus. It's actually 95. I don't want to put that number out. It's 95%. When people get into the program, they get a job, right? And last year, the people who went through our programs, just in Nizamabad, how much salary they make per year? They make about 7.5 crores. Just the people who went through our program in Nizamabad, they make 7.5 crores, multiply by 10, that is 70 crores every year. I'm not calculating their salary hikes over the last 6 years, right? And another statistic is, of course, 50% women and etc. 60%, the women who are there in the program, we did a survey recently, వాళ్ళకి వచ్చిన శాలరీలో 60% of their salary they send home. So that is the money that is coming back to Nizamabad, right? 60% of their salary, 60% of the 70 crores is coming back, and it is helping their parents who are farmers. It is helping them repay debts. It is helping them get their jewelry back. It is helping them build their houses and etc. Of course, it's a different story with the boys. Boys are sending only 30% back. I don't know what they're doing with the 70%, right? But specifically, and if you look at the program inside, right, that's the impact that we have. And I won't be surprised if the 7 crores in Nizamabad becomes 70 crores per year in the very near future. And I was talking about partnerships. See, partnerships is the one which helped us scale the cotton farmers initiative in Nizamabad, and whereas the skilling program is built by us and it is very successful, over 90% placement, and if you combine Nizamabad and Hubli, 70 crores is a per annum revenue of our graduates, right? Nizamabad is 10% of what Hubli is. But we are willing to open source that. Just like we benefited from the BCI, we want to give out this skilling program, right? That is how we want to grow through partnership. Anybody who wants to take this program, implement, please take it and implement, because it is not worth repeating and building out this whole program, right? And this program is like very beautiful. The other day, we also have a residential campus for the skilling program. So I was having lunch in the residential campus with the students. I was having lunch and suddenly I see this bunch of students coming together and singing English songs. Right? What is that? Pain and I don't know, these songs, right? They were singing these songs and going around the dining tables. I was like, what are they doing? Then I called one of my colleagues and asked, what are they doing? Why are they singing these English songs, right? It seems it is their punishment to learn an English song and sing in front of everybody if they don't speak in English in the time that they're supposed to speak in English, because we are also teaching them English, right? Right? So some rituals like this, right? These are learnt over 10 years and put into the program, and all these are available in a playbook for anybody who wants to implement a skilling program, who want to get 95% placement rate. So please come and take that and take the playbook, and let's grow through partnerships. I mean, I'm just adding color to the partnerships word that you mentioned.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like we have a foundation for the rural innovation now, and I can draw parallels to what TAI was in US 20 years ago. With this rural innovation here, it looks like it has a scale to build across India now. I mean, that's wonderful. If we can see all these entrepreneurs and students coming out of it, it's a great accomplishment there.
Yeah, but one thing I just wanted to say, I think the focus in some ways going forward is, it's not, skilling is of course a phenomenal success, but 70% of India, is in the villages and the small towns, and many of them have the potential to be the job creators like what Funny has done, right? So I think a big part of sort of the opportunity is really how do we turn some of these young men and women from the villages, the students at IIIT, RGUKT, Basar and all of that, into the job creators of tomorrow. Because if India really has to become an economic superpower, the districts of India have to become the engines of economic growth. That's kind of our view. So in some sense, the sandbox, the K-Hub, I think is certainly one very good model, and I'm sure there are others around the country. But that's the exciting part for us.
Awesome. So, all right. Thank you very much for this opportunity, Funny and Raju Garu.
All right. Thank you.